Level 1. The first click. You're 22 years old, living in a cramped apartment in a city where the cost of rent is rising faster than your paycheck. You work a dead-end retail job during the day, and at night, you stare at a flickering laptop screen. You're not looking for porn or social media. You've just downloaded the Tor browser for the first time. You've heard the stories, the dark web, a place where you can buy anything from stolen credit cards to military-grade hardware. It feels like a myth until the first marketplace loads. It's organized, clean, and has customer reviews just like Amazon. You start as a buyer, just out of curiosity. You order a small bag of high-grade cannabis from a vendor 3 states away. It arrives 4 days later, vacuum sealed inside a DVD case. Your heart hammers against your ribs as you open it. It's real. The quality is better than anything you can find on the street, and it's cheaper. You realize then that the guy who sent this isn't a gangster in the traditional sense. He's a businessman. He's making more in a week than you make in a month of folding clothes. You look at your bank account. $400. You realize there's no way to get ahead legally. You decide to stop buying and start selling. You're a bottle now. A lookout in a digital neighborhood, watching the prices, learning the terminology, and waiting for your moment to move. Level 2. The small-time vendor. You're 23 now. You've spent months researching OPSEC, Operation Security. You learn about PGP encryption, Tails OS, and Monero. You don't use Bitcoin anymore. It's too easy to track. You find a local wholesale supplier of prescription pills, Xanax, oxycodone. You buy 50 pills for $500. You set up your first vendor profile on a mid-tier market. You choose a name that sounds professional, Apex Logistics. Your first order comes in within 6 hours. You feel a rush of adrenaline, but also a cold spike of fear. This isn't just a game anymore. If you get caught, you're looking at 10 to 20 years. You follow the transporter rules. You stay clean. You don't use your own product, and you never carry more than you can explain. You wrap the pills in Mylar, vacuum seal them twice to kill the scent, and put them in a padded envelope. You walk to a blue USPS collection box 3 miles from your house. You wear a hoodie and a medical mask. You don't look at the cameras. You drop the package and walk away. 3 days later, the buyer leaves a 5-star review. Fast shipping, stealth is 10 out of 10. You just made $150 profit in 10 minutes of work. You do it again and again. Level 3. The Stealth Specialist. You're 25. You've moved from pills to higher margin products like MDMA or cocaine. You're no longer just a guy with a laptop. You're a 49er, a foot soldier in an invisible army. Your apartment has become a warehouse. You have industrial vacuum sealers, stacks of Mylar bags, and a thermal label printer. You don't go to the post office anymore. You have a rotating schedule of drop boxes across 3 different zip codes. The stress is constant. Every time you hear a car door slam outside, you freeze. Every time a neighbor looks at you too long, you wonder if they've noticed the smell of chemicals or the frequency of your packages. You've learned the first rule of the triad. Never carry anything incriminating on your person. You keep your office separate from your living space. You're making $2,000 a week now. You buy a used car with cash, but you keep your retail job as a front. You tell your mother you got a promotion. She's happy for you, but you can't look her in the eye. You're living a double life, and the wall between them is getting thinner every day. Level 4. The Market Resident. You're 27. You have over 1,000 positive reviews. You're a veterano in the digital world. You don't deal with small orders anymore. You have a minimum order of $200. You've hired a runner, a kid you met online who needs quick cash. You pay him in crypto to drop your packages at the post office. You don't tell him your real name, and he doesn't tell you his. This is your boyic phase. You're not just moving crates, you're managing an operation. The markets are volatile. One day, the FBI seizes the site you've spent 2 years building your reputation on. You lose $15,000 held in escrow. You don't panic. You move to a different market, use your PGP key to prove your identity, and your customers follow you. You realize that in this world, your reputation is the only thing that's real. If you exit scam, run away with the customer's money, you're dead in the water. You follow the code of the Bratva. You never cooperate with the authorities, and you always pay your debts to your suppliers. You're making $8,000 a month now. You look like a successful professional, but your office is a dark room with the curtains drawn. Level 5. The Crypto Launderer. You're 29. You have $200,000 in Monero, but you're still living in the same apartment. You can't just deposit it into a bank account. You need to wash it. You become the white paper fan, the administrator of your own finances. You set up a shell company, a consulting firm, or a construction company. You use crypto tumblers and decentralized exchanges to move your money through 4 different countries before it hits your business account. You report consulting fees from phantom clients. You pay taxes. You even have an accountant who thinks you're a tech whiz, but you're also managing protection. Rival vendors try to dox you, reveal your real identity to the police. They launch DDoS attacks on your listings to knock you offline. You have to hire security, hackers who can retaliate. You're no longer just selling, you're fighting a digital war for territory. You're making $20,000 a month and the pressure is starting to crack you. You sleep with a gun in your nightstand, not because you expect a raid, but because you don't trust anyone anymore. Level 6, the regional operator. You're 32. You've moved out of the apartment and into a gated community. You have lookouts in the form of encrypted alerts on your phone that monitor police scanners and keyword mentions of your vendor name on forums. You don't touch the product anymore. You're a regional operator. You have a supplier in the Netherlands and a distribution cell in the US. You manage the logistics from your laptop while sitting in expensive restaurants. You're generating millions. You've expanded into cyber services, selling access to compromised servers or credit card databases. You sit in on meetings, in encrypted chat rooms with other high-level vendors. You divide the territory, who sells what, which markets are safe, which ones are honeypots set up by the DEA. You're a Vorvisakon of the internet. You set the policy, you mediate disputes between smaller vendors, and you decide who gets greenlit for a site-wide ban. You're powerful, you're wealthy, and you're a ghost, but you can't travel. You can't visit your sister in Canada because you're on a red notice you don't even know about yet. You have everything, and you have nothing. Level 7, the mastermind. You're 35. You are the dragonhead of a digital cartel. You don't just use markets, you own a stake in them. You provide the infrastructure. You've moved your physical operations to countries with no extradition treaties. You have cells in 15 countries. You have officials on your payroll, corrupt postal workers, customs agents, and even a few consultants in law enforcement who give you a heads up when an investigation gets too close. Your organization moves tons of product a year. You have cells in 15 countries. You're worth $10 million, but you've had plastic surgery to change your appearance. Your own children, if you had them, wouldn't recognize you. You live in a golden cage, a luxury villa in a country where you don't speak the language, surrounded by armed security who would sell you out for the right price. You spend your days managing the cycle, replacing arrested runners, finding new shipping routes, and staying one step ahead of the Marines of the digital world. The FBI's cyber division. You think about the night you first downloaded Tor. You saved your financial life, but you destroyed your soul. Level 8, the reckoning. You're 38. It happens on a Tuesday morning. You're having coffee on your balcony, looking at the ocean. You don't hear the door go down. You just see the red dots of laser sights on your chest. It wasn't a mistake you made. It was a vendor you trusted 3 years ago who flipped when he got caught. They have everything. Years of chat logs, blockchain analysis of your cleaned money, and testimony from your runners. The trial is a formality. The headlines call you a dark web kingpin. You're convicted on 50 counts of narcotics trafficking, money laundering, and conspiracy. The judge sentences you to life without parole. You're sent to a supermax prison, a DX Florence. You're in a cell 23 hours a day. No internet, no laptop, no Monero. Just 4 concrete walls and the ghosts of everyone you hurt to get here. You think about your father, who died while you were working, or your mother, who still thinks you were a successful businessman. You realize that the debt you thought you were paying off was one you could never repay. Level 9, the successor. But the dark web doesn't die with you. Even as you sit in your cell, a 19-year-old kid in a small town is opening the Tor browser for the first time. He's bored, he's broke, and he's hungry. He sees your legend on a forum, the guy who made millions and almost got away with it. He doesn't see the concrete walls or the isolation. He only sees the gold-plated pistol and the luxury villa. He orders a small bag of cannabis. It arrives in a DVD case. He smiles. He realizes he can do it better. He can be smarter. He can be faster. He creates a vendor profile. He chooses a name. Apex Logistics 2. The cycle begins again. The money keeps flowing, the packages keep moving, and the bodies keep piling up. This is the dark web, a billion-dollar empire built on blood, bytes, and the illusion of being untouchable. And it's still running.